You are watching the Blueprint Radio Show with DJ Miss Hennessy.
Aboriginal invisible. I'm learning all my history from pictures in the picture book. Covered in a principle, was taught not to be critical. Tested on the people is a written as a physical. And if I dismiss it, I'd be sent up to the principal. The shit's already published, my story the residual. This in evidence is a measurement called a mythical. Evidence attend to the detriment of the vigigal. Back and forth on the narrative like a pendulum. God forbid they mention the massacres in curriculum. Who they mentioning it's embarrassing all your blemishes. And after all you ain't it impacting Native Americans. And she be practicing Aboriginal welcoming. Come on to me with how do you savages think you're everything. Don't you know my daddy, granddaddy used to be legendary. Protector of the black, so I'm practically Aborigine. That's the shit that is naturally condescending me. The casual dismissal of Aboriginal history. In fact, we think the betterment of blackness is irrelevant. And after all, you ain't a pack of African Americans. I'm black, no matter what a white person telling me. We're walking all together, all as one like a centipede. Wanna talk about me, listen up and learn my history. Forget the school textbook, that shit be elementary. Yeah. Please get the school textbook, that shit be elementary. Yo. Forget the school textbook, that shit be elementary.
Hey, what's up everyone? Miss Hennessy here with another exclusive interview right here for the Blueprint Hip Hop Soul Show. Tonight we have an incredible artist. He doesn't really need an introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway because he always deserves one. The amazing Dobby. He is just a musician, I don't even want to say a rapper. He's a hip hop artist slash drummer slash creative songwriter, everything that you want in an artist. This young man is all about, and I'm so privileged and so grateful to have him on the show tonight. How are you doing, brother?
Oh my gosh, it's going so well, and thank you so much for that wonderful, beautiful intro. It's really great to connect with you again. It's good to see and hear your voice. I'm just very excited to be here.
Thank you. It has been a minute. I mean, you and I, whenever we see each other, it's like we've never missed a beat. You know, it's just kind of the connection we have. You're such an incredible soul and such a necessary realness to not only the hip hop genre, but to just the music community in general that we have here in Australia. If anybody who's been a fan of yours has watched you for the last few years, the star has definitely risen, and rightfully so. You're one of the most hard-working and authentic artists that I'm blessed to know. And post-COVID, pre-COVID, all of these things, you've maintained such a high standard of creativity. But I really want to know, for somebody that does everything from the drumming to the lyrics to the composing of your music, how is something like lockdown, can I say it's affected you, or has it been the reverse and it's made you even more hungry? How's it been for you?
Oh my gosh, definitely more hungry, that's for sure. Yeah. The first couple of months I was down, like, you know, when everything just started, and I feel like everyone was in that same sort of mind state. But then after that, you know, the art that we do as musicians and artists in general, things started to really become sweeter and with more meaning, right? Like, especially, you know, last year we started to, I mean, everyone around me started to question, like, what do we really do? What is it that we do? And what is it about the work, you know, that we do that means something to someone else? So I've been thinking about that since the start of the pandemic. And nowadays, like you're saying, I feel really hungry. Like I'm really you know, I'm hungry for that, and I'm just trying to be as creative as I can.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in training again, you know, I'm training
Yeah.
up for something. So
Yeah.
yeah, it feels good.
I like that because really at the end of the day, we all need downtime to sharpen our tools, right? And a few people I've spoken to, you know, even myself, you know, being able to develop this interview series and taking it from radio to the online platform is something I always wanted to do, but you never had the time. You know, it was always time. And I guess in a way, this has made a lot of people look at their relationship with time and think, well, I have to make it now that I have so much more of it. I'm at home and I'm in my spaces. It's kind of forced a lot of us to reevaluate who we are creatively and where we are going forward. So, you know, obviously with somebody like yourself, your music matters. Your voice, your message matters. You're not only an Indigenous man, you represent for your other culture as well. So if I'm not mistaken, it's Filipino, correct?
Yeah,
The other
that's
part of
right.
you.
Yeah.
So you've got
Yeah.
these two incredible cultures, and I'm learning so much more about the Filipino culture. I'm very proud to
Cool.
say. I don't know if I should be saying through the comedian of Joe Coy, but he's brilliant. I
Isn't
just
he
love that
great?
man.
Oh my gosh. He's
He,
so good. And I don't know if you've been watching like his, you know, what he's been doing lately, but
oh
he
man,
is like, he
he
is on the rise, you know,
such an
becoming one of
and
the best in history.
seriously, his rise has been phenomenal. And just, but I love the portal that he gives to people to sort of look at the Filipino arts, you know, community and the dance and all of those things. So looking at somebody like yourself, obviously waving the flag for both of your cultures, but the Indigenous side has always been something that has resonated very strongly. What have your recent sort of projects been where you've you know really delved deep into that side of your culture? Can we talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Definitely delving deep in language. I in this time, like you know, back to what I was saying about questioning what is it, you know, about music that really appeals to me and how
Yeah,
important is it. I want to learn language through my music, and so I've already been working on trying to get, you know, Mudawari language in my songs,
brilliant.
and now I've been working with my mum and Diola, my
Yeah,
good friend slash DJ slash
yes,
everything else that she does.
yeah. She's a
Um,
she's a boss lady. That one.
she is an absolute, she's a powerhouse. Yeah. Unstoppable force. And so she and my mother have been helping me, you know, like with my pronunciation, with Tagalog, like writing Tagalog in rap, and my pronunciation is terrible. You know, I like grew up hearing Tagalog all around me. My
Yeah,
mom would speak it, my cousins, my sisters, but I never picked it up. And so like through hip hop, I can learn that, you know, humbly, really
yes,
humbly. Like I know that, you know, especially in the Filipino culture, when I do send this, when I share this, when I'm confident enough to share this with my family,
yeah,
I know that I'm going to feel very shame. Like I'll be very embarrassed and it'll be awkward, but it'll be a part of it. You know, it's all,
yeah.
it's, it's all important.
I
So,
get it.
yeah. So that's like been really empowering for me for
Mm.
sure.
That's amazing. It's funny that you say that because myself being South African, obviously I've lived here for, I came here when I was 12 and, you know, I'm about 104 now. So I've been here for a long time. I feel like I am. I've been here for a
I,
long time. And so the native tongue back in South Africa is obviously, it's Afrikaans. And I never really learned it and I used to hate it. Like, you know, obviously my parents would talk it, and if they wanted to talk about me, they'd speak it because they knew I didn't understand, and they'd teach me at
mm,
school. I wasn't listening. It was just one of those languages I could never grasp. And now, as you know, an older woman, and I hear certain, you know, friends talk, and I kind of get some of it, but like you said, there's always that little. Oh, I don't know it enough to talk it, and if I do, I'm going to say the words wrong, and how embarrassing. It's
yeah,
that sort of stuff. But I don't think there's
yeah.
any shame in it. I just think it's just kind of how it sits with you in a way. If you don't use it a lot, sometimes you do lose it, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's such a powerful thing, language. I remember talking to Elle about it, Elle Fresh,
Yes.
and with his song Mother Tongue, and just the power of language for his personal journey. He used to speak his language so well, and then, as he got older, he kind of lost his mother tongue.
Yeah.
And that's what the song's about, like coming back to it. And it's so powerful because, I think for one of his songs, he did a remix, in his language, and collaborated with folks in India for that one track. And it was like just like a whole nother world to me anyway, and it was empowering to see just how language can really like bring
Honestly.
yourself to all your cultures together, and it represents you. It says so much about your identity. So yeah, it's inspiring.
Absolutely. Speaking of language, obviously the native indigenous tongues, there's many different dialects here. And it's, again, obviously through my teaching, I'm very blessed to be able to teach a handful of Indigenous students at the school that I work at. And whenever we're doing something, acknowledgement of country or anything to do with First Nations, peoples, I'm always amazed by the different languages that each mob represents, I guess, if you want to say. So, looking at, you're doing your journey through language at the moment with Tagalog, have you thought of maybe looking at the Indigenous side and doing an album or a song in your native sort of tongue as well?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. The project so there's a project that I've been working on for a few years now. It's called Warangu River Story, and Warangu means river in Nyamba language, which is the language of the original custodians of what we call Brewarrina, northwest New South Wales. And so my family are from there, and my grandmother was born and raised there. Her father, old George Shearer, was born 1 hour north in a place called Wilmaringal in Mudawari country, under the birthing tree on the Colgoa River. And so this project is about that, and it's about the cultural significance and stories of these rivers that run through the areas, but also, the over irrigation of water that's happening in the Murray-Darling Basin. And through this project, I'm trying to speak more language. Like there's one song called Dipiyu and Pachilinya. And it's so funny because I pretty much started performing this song through COVID, like through lockdown. And it's been so long. It's funny. The first time I ever played it was in New Orleans for the Indigenous Music Summit. And then from there, it was like on a live stream here and a live stream there and a live stream here. And I was like,
just making appearances.
Yeah. I'm like, how many times have I actually played this to people?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so those songs, I'm really excited when I get the chance to play that to a crowd and to feel that, is going to be really special for me.
Speaking of crowd, one thing that I really enjoy about your performances is you are such an engaging live act, right? If anybody watching this, if you haven't seen Dobby, well, let's hope once lockdown lifts and shows start happening, you get to see him live, because you're part of the crowd. You can tell some artists tend to be a little bit reserved in a bit and then sort of warm the crowd up. Like, you are trained to go the minute the curtain goes up, the minute you get on stage, you are interactive. What's that energy transfer like for you? Because that's what it is, artist and audience. It's the energy.
Yeah.
If you feed off that, you can see it.
Yeah, I really feel that. It's so important. It's that's what gets me going, like in this lockdown, is just thinking about when that chance will come again, because you can't help but think day by day, like, okay, as a musician, not for everyone what really gives me that
Mhm.
that drive and that purpose, you know, is seeing how your music can affect
Yes.
others, and you see that in their eyes or whatever, like, you know, you see them dance or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
And I miss that. It's fun. Yeah, I miss it. I miss it. I really, and also to be in a crowd, you know, is something so special, you know.
Yeah.
Um
100%.
yeah, it's the stuff of magic, really. Like it's I'm just excited for when we get back to it, you know, to get that feeling again and what it'll
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah.
Just like the last time we got back to dancing and everything, and it was also just as celebratory and we all went
Exactly.
crazy.
I'm. I have to admit, I'm a little bit sort of trepidatious about this
Hmm.
return because I think last year it wasn't as doom and gloom. It wasn't as heavy-handed as
Hmm.
this year. And then, of course, dealing with all of the sort of conspiracy theory things and anti this and anti that, and I've
Yeah.
always been of whatever works for you. But I'm cool. Like that's just it. It's personal choice is what it is. It's personal choice. But I
Hmm.
find that mankind or human beings have really lost the plot a little bit. I don't know
Hmm.
if I'm wrong, but there's this vibe of, once we do return, it's never going to be how it was. And I think that's something that I probably had to make a little bit of peace with. Being a DJ as well, I don't know how
Yeah.
that is going to be moving forward. Playing to a crowd, how are people going to interact with each other? Or is it just going to be like, this has been a bad dream? We went to sleep for about 3 months and now we're out and we're good.
Yeah.
How do you know moving forward, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I see things on YouTube like you know, I'm a this is a random example, but a big fan of like Stephen Colbert, you know,
Yes.
and seeing his show come back and hearing the crowd and just seeing like concerts in the States happening again. And so, you know, I look at that and I think, okay, there is there are some things that I think will come back. For how long, not too sure.
Yeah.
But you know, I yeah, I think it'll be the slow return to seated and with masks and whatnot, and
Yeah.
we'll eventually get through that. And I just have to
Slowly.
hope that, you know.
Slowly staging. Well, I did get a little bit
Yeah.
of a beacon of hope in my email inbox the other day, because I'd booked tickets to take Jay to go and see Hamilton for his birthday back in July.
What? Yeah.
And literally, obviously, with that lockdown, we were in it for 4 weeks, and that was when they were like, "Nope, everything's closing." They refunded my
Mm.
tickets, the whole deal. I get an email the other day going, "Hamilton's coming back, Maxine. If you'd like to pre-order your." I was like, "Is it really coming back?" I'm almost nervous to go and get involved again. I had high hopes. They can't keep breaking my heart,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're like,
you
this is
know.
too good to be true.
It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is. It really is. So
So good.
speaking obviously of tours, I mean, you are no stranger to touring. We've spoken about how you literally do come alive when you're on stage, and that transferal of energy between yourself and an audience is really what makes your shows so electric. Um, Sort of moving forward, if you can, do you have anything on the horizon? Will you be touring? Are there anything in the works for next year that you can share and talk about?
Yeah, you know, so we were just about to continue our leg of the Warangu River Story tour when the lockdown kind of came in again. So we're hoping that when things open up at the end of this year, that there might be a chance at the end of this year to go back up.
Yeah.
We really want to get up to Wilmeringal because that's, you know, very important to the project, is very important to, you know, myself and my community to bring that project there. Um, you know, there's a lot of voices in that project in Wirangu, you know, a lot of field recordings of elders and community members in the area. So it's so special and kind of really integral to tour it back to Lightning Ridge, back to Brewarrina, to Wilmeringal. So when that happens, we'll go back and then we're going to finish it off with a Sydney show here. And I'm really keen to be able to do that early next year, hopefully sometime, you know, permitting that we can do that.
That's amazing. Can I ask,
so we'll make it work.
what is the receival of you like in the Indigenous communities, and where you obviously, where you were touring before this lockdown? What are the elders like with you when you approach them, you're talking about everything, and they obviously know that you're a hip hop artist and all of that sort of thing. What is the experience like for someone like myself who hasn't been to these magical places you're talking about? In my mind, and obviously through the visuals that you share on Instagram and that sort of thing, I can only piece together just how powerful that journey is for you. But what are they like with you? What is that community like when they receive you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, with a project like this and the tour that we've just done, I performed this to, like, on the side of the Barwon River in Brewarrina, playing back the voices of some of the people there. And that felt really sort of, I don't know what it was like for them, but for me, it felt like a real solid connection, because it was my way artistically of saying, I feel this story and I want our stories told, you know. So, you know, Lily Shearer, Auntie Lily Shearer, my you know, my amazing cousin who you know, she founded Bayami's Nunu Festival, which is a festival on the side of the Barwon River in Brewarrina that's been happening, you know, since 2016, I think. Which is a continuation of thousands of years of gatherings in that same area, you know. To have her voice as a part of it, and then to play that back, I think, you know, it was a real connection. And, you know, I think she really loves it. And that feels so reassuring to me, you know. And working with someone like Brad Stedman, who's another, you know, community member / you know, knowledge man in the area, he gave me so much knowledge to bring this project together, and his voice is scattered throughout the project, you know. So to hear it, it's funny because he's definitely a man of few words until certain times when all the knowledge spills out of him. So it's given us that, you know, that's a really strong connecting relationship that I have because of this project. So
that's amazing.
What I love. Yeah, and what I love about it is that there is a massive blend for me between art and life and culture. It's not just music, it's my family, it's my history. This is like my life that I'm engaging in. So when I do it, you know, I'm creating these songs, but I'm also finding more about myself.
Right.
So
and that's what the journey is about. That's why we do what we do. You know, it's not only it's not only for creative sake. It's an extension of us. It's an extension of our culture and our pure love and our pure passion. You know, and I have to ask you this question. I hope it's not a loaded one, but do you think that Indigenous youth are represented or are given enough opportunities within the hip hop community to share their message, to share their voice? Is it something that is, you know, sort of you know, always sort of happening and maybe just not on, because we know it's not on the mainstream, but and there's only a few, maybe a few sort of people mainstream that are. But do you think that it is a constantly evolving musical community, you know, obviously bringing Indigenous youth and cultivating them within the hip hop community?
I think we within the community put a lot of emphasis on it, but you know, quite obviously in the mainstream community, it's just not. It's always felt, and you know, as you know, that it's quite a bit of an us and them sort of approach to it. It seems as though, you know, we can go out and we do workshops and we have our own initiatives working within our community to create these mad albums. And you've got people like Monkey Mark who, you know, showcase incredible Indigenous, you know, First Nations talent, emerging talent, to get their stuff off the ground. And we know each other within our communities, but it's always a very tokenistic result when it comes to the mainstream. So it's like there's all of this that's happening, and then, you know, it kind of only a few things drip through, and it shouldn't be that way. And it's also forcing us to kind of debate and fight with one another because of the limited spaces that are provided to us. So it's really not, it doesn't feel like support a lot of the time, you know.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's why I wanted to ask you, because as someone who's not a musician, or I'm not out sort of, you know, out there fronting the crowds, but in a position where being a DJ, being on radio, being a sort of media representative, you know, I'm always searching for, I'm always looking for, I'm always wanting to represent the right pockets of culture, and you know, make sure that everybody is equally represented. And it's tokenism is a word that really, and it just irks me so much, you know. I mean, you know, shout out to the incredible, you know, artists who have obviously made, you know, really, really big waves, obviously on a commercial set. You know, we've got Briggs, we've got Barker. You know, shout out to these incredible, you know, artists, and there's a few others I've probably, you know, not mentioned, but there would be stacks more. There's so much magic and musical talent within the Indigenous culture. And I often wonder what happens to those kids who just want to cultivate more, you know. So it's always a big question mark to me. Like, where is it? What's happening? How does it go from I want to rap or I want to write to actually getting that happening outside of the workshops? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, to add to that, I would also say that there's definitely a shift that's happened within the last, I want to even say, couple of years. I think about Barker and I just go, wow, like, you know, damn, you know, there's something so unstoppable about the movement that she carries and pushes through to the mainstream. It's so groundbreaking. And there's something so special happening with Barker. There's something so special happening with Ziggy Ramo. And there's something so special happening with so many of the mob that are really like in hip hop in particular. But wow, like it's unavoidable at this point. You know, and it's only a matter of time. I just think about the next 5 years, what this environment is going to look like, and there's going to be some arguments with a lot of pushback against this massive force. I can see it, right? Like, I just can't wait for those conversations.
In the words of the great John Lewis, you know, get into some good trouble, right? Keep on getting into good trouble, because literally at the end of the day, I mean, this is what it's all about. This is literally what hip hop is all about. And I think for too long, it's especially hip hop in this country, it's been the gatekeepers of hip hop have never understood the culture, have never understood what the real message, what the movement is. And it's taken people like yourself and, you know, El Fresh and you know, Barker and all these incredible, Lee Monroe, all these incredible artists to just go, this is what it is for us in your own collective voices, and you know, representing the whole pie at the end of the day. And I get
absolutely
really excited about it. So let's watch this space in the next 5 years. But we're talking about you. So in the next the next 12 months, where do we see you? What's happening musically for you? Are you looking to release stuff coming out of lockdown? What are you feeling musically right now?
Yeah, I've taken some weird and incredible turns, you know, in my career. It's been really a blessing in a lot of ways. You know, this COVID lockdown has, I think, you know, shifted a lot of people's work roles, and I've been doing a lot of composition, and I've been doing a lot of. It's been such a branch out, you know, for me musically. Like I've been composing for stage and for light festivals like Pachama in Alice Springs, and composing for dance. So it's just like all of a sudden, like there's this new sort of schedule that I'm on, and there's these new sort of projects that I've been working on that are pushing me out, and I'm bringing my sort of my Dobby with it, and I'm bringing my composer stuff to that role, and now I feel like a kid in a candy store, because I'm just like da da da, you know, let's try some jazz here, let's try some classical music here, and what does it mean for me, is, you know, so it's been really exciting, and I think next year is going to be a lot more of that as well.
How does one compose for a light show? Like, how do you? I've always wanted to ask that question. I never knew anybody that did it. Now I do. So explain it to me.
Oh, a massive shout out to Ani Rhoda Roberts. You know, this is her project, her baby, Pachama Festival in Alice Springs, and so I created these soundscapes for, I think it was like 5 different light installations. And what's cool about it is, and this is what's beautiful about how it relates back to culture, the artists who created the work, whether it be, you know, these this beautiful series of skateboards and coolamans with their designs on it, from Mpantwa, Alice Springs, or you know, these other ones, they talked about their story, about their process of creating that work, and they're talking about what colors appeal to them, and I'm just creating music underneath it so that you can hear their voice, but you're also, you know, bopping along. You having a bop.
That's magical stuff, man.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh,
yeah,
well done. I'm really happy to hear that, you know, as an artist, you haven't been hemmed into just what it is that people would know you for holistically, being a hip hop artist, being, you know, a drummer, all of that sort of stuff. Like, that exploration is so powerful, and just adds to that creative CV really at the end of the day. So
yeah,
you're always keeping the mental going.
I'm just kind of I'm you know, I'm listing it down.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Any new sort of, like, are you looking to release any singles anytime soon, or is that something you just sort of
yeah, we're hoping so. Yeah, I'm actually talking with my manager Viv tomorrow about that, so we'll be, so, you know, I'll watch this space.
Yes, shout out to Viv. Shout
out to Viv.
That's another powerhouse. I've spoken to her and I've gone, so what's new musically? She's like, I'll let you know at some stage. I'm like, Viv, just, can you tell me? She goes, no, we've got things happening. I'll let you know. I'm like, okay, I'll wait till she lets me know. That's what's up, though. That's really cool.
Yeah,
really
cool. She's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's been so amazing just sort of touching base with you and just sharing a little bit about what's been happening in your life. I think the last time we spoke, it was in studio. You'd come in, it was one of your singles, and always such a pleasure to talk to you and just have that conversation, that connection. You've got an amazing spirit. And just, again, it's always so lovely to know what you're doing, and by the sounds of it, it's necessary realness that you're creating. So
thank you.
We can't wait to see you live again, and you know, for now we'll just put up with the Instagram percussion session.
Yeah.
That you're gracing us with gracing, you know, us with daily. Can I just ask you though, what's it like doing something like, we were talking beforehand before I hit record about a little snippet my husband had sent me today about you, like this amazing like freestyle that you just decided to grace us with a percussionist in the other screen. What was her name?
So her name is the Pocket Queen, and she's New Orleans born and bred, and I think she's based in LA right now. But I've been a massive follower of her, big fan of hers since for a couple of years now. Yeah, and she's just an incredible drummer, like so much pocket, as in, the groove and the rhythm that she's in is just so divine. And I wanted to remix is what they call it, like remix a reel on Instagram of hers for a while, and so I did it today.
You did wonderfully well. Like I said, he came home and he's like, "You have got to." Are you talking to him tonight? Yes. You better listen to this, and you better tell him what's up. So I'm playing it, and I'm going, "Oh my God!" Like seriously, keep more of those things coming because it's amazing. It just showcases you just brilliantly, just what you're all about. So people go to it's Instagram, right? It's on. Was it on your page?
Instagram. Yeah.
Find Dobby on Instagram. Yeah. It's all in the reels. This is how we're talking now, and it's brilliant.
I know. New vocabulary, huh?
It's crazy, man. It's really crazy, but you know what? It keeps us honest. So,
that's it.
Listen, thank you so much for your time. And
thank you so much. It's been so lovely talking with you. It's made my week.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and just your energy and everything. And I can't wait to see you soon. Hopefully it won't be too long. And likewise. Hopefully not too long. We'll all be together again. I'm really looking forward to that. Absolutely. Thanks for your time, hon.
Thank you so much. I'll catch you soon.
Anytime. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Yeah. Sick of having to explain myself. They wanna know the history, the pain might help. They making me wild, need to restrain myself. If I were you, I would educate myself. Oh no. They want me to hate myself, degrade, dismiss, and erase myself. They said Australia and America's not the same. I say David Dungay, they don't even know the name. That's bullshit. Right to your member, tell them what's happening. You gotta challenge the white settler narrative. Got a lot of books that call us nomadic savages. Maybe that's a connection to them attacking us. Government thinking up any other solution, but truth leads to treaty and revolution. Killers acquitted, your silence is killing. Give us your platform so your people can listen. First came the massacres, then came the mission. Then stole the children, then filled the prison. No wonder our people do not trust the system. Over 400, not one conviction. Shame. No justice and no peace. They won't charge the police. They both said, I can't breathe. They both said, I can't breathe. No justice and no peace. They won't charge the police. They both said, I can't breathe. They both said, I can't breathe. He died when you choked him on his back in the pen. The five were some untrained, angry men. So why are you surprised it was actually them? And what would happen if there were no cameras then? If you're white, come and fight with your black fella friends and write down the number of their badge with a pen. The value of a life we shouldn't have to defend. And saying sorry means it never happens again. Some of these cops must have been bullied in PE to kill mob. That's why Kaepernick took a knee. Donald Trump's calling that a lack of respect. But what do you call a knee to the back of your neck, huh? This shit's as bad as it gets. Cause some of these coppers really don't know how to protect. And it's legitimized. See, they try to minimize genocide and all my Twitter fights. Cause the revolution televised. Yo! No justice and no peace. They won't charge the police. They both said, I can't breathe. They both said, I can't breathe. No justice and no peace. They won't charge the police. They both said, I can't breathe. They both said, I can't breathe.
You bring violence to my motherland and blame me for it. Then expect me to be silent and then thank you for it. I ain't thankful, they've been killing my people by the masses. And I'm fed up to the neck by you right-wing fascists. I feel anger when my people feel anger, that's connection. We're angry for a reason cause our babies need protecting. I'm scared to send them out cause their colour is a weapon. When we walk through the streets people somehow feel threatened. Stop, we only want the system to be civilised. You televise your point of view then feed the shapes full of lies. You bought the divide when you set up all the missions. And you still cause divide, killing my people in prison. I'm sick of it, sick and tired of the thick of it. Picture it, walk in our shoes, get a sniff of it. You feeling it? Now you choose to show no respect. About so-called Australia gets their knees off our necks.
No justice and no peace. breathe. No justice and no peace. They won't charge the police. They both said, I can't breathe. They both said, I can't breathe.
Come on, man. Y'all know what time it is. That's why you out here.
Well, I really appreciate you giving your perspective, mate, because people in Australia don't have the understanding of
the history of police killings.